Okay, we'll start. First, today you already know that I congratulate you all and I wish you all that today is International Yoga Day. And on this occasion, we are running this course that is to build our immune system. Some breathing exercise I am going to teach you. And before that, my contents will be delivered like a definition of yoga and its forms, brain structure, and learning enhancement, meditation and sleep, and breathing exercise. At the end, I am going to show you some breathing exercises so that we can build our immune system. Okay. And first thing is that what is yoga? Okay, you already know this word. I think in recently in 2 days or 3 days or today you might be heard many times what is yoga and all. Then what is the yoga? The true meaning of yoga is connection. The true meaning of yoga is connection, right? You will heard about the two words viyoga and sanyoga. When two people will meet each other, that is called as samyoga. Means there is a connection between that, and if we fight each other and if we go away from each other, then we will call them that as a viyoga. Here yoga means what? Yoga means connection, that is a bonding. Okay, and why we introduce this one, that we will do so many exercises, right? Body up and down, and we will be stretching the arm, this one body, and we will be that what doing many exercises. Then why we call them as a yoga? Okay, why we call them as a yoga? Because in this process, in this art, what we are going to perform, in that art we are going to connect our brain, that is your body, mind and soul. Okay, these three we are going to connect that one. That is why this connection is called as a yoga. Okay, the first one is what? Physical body, physical entity. That you can take an example of laptop. Okay, laptop is a physical. If you see the box, keyboards, and if you see the mouse, and monitor, these all things, if you see, you can touch them and you can feel them. They are all physical body. That is not a complete information of laptop, but that is just an physical information of the laptop. Like that, what is my nature? Who am I? If I ask myself, then my true nature will be not only the body. Through a body, I can explain that I am a human being and I have two hands, two legs, and one face. That like that, some organs I can explain. Okay, but this is the physical information of me. Okay, then the second one comes eternal information. Eternal or otherwise immortal we can call. Immortal means what? Which is not able to touch. Okay, that is out of the senses. Means they are not in reach with the senses. That you can call it as a eternal thing. Which is that eternal part in us? That is your mind. Okay, the physical one is a body, and the eternal part or immortal part, what we call, is our mind. And the third form is there in the laptop example. If I take, then eternal part I can say tell about softwares. Okay, there are so many softwares you will install in the laptop. You cannot touch them, you cannot feel them, you cannot smell them, but still because of that only the laptop will be working. The laptop will be in good condition, and you will install antivirus to that one to protect the softwares, and you will install the advanced versions, and every month or every year you are going to update them. See, all these activities are immortal, means you cannot touch them, but the physical property of the laptop you can touch that one. Understood? Means what is laptop is, if I ask you, then you have to tell that the laptop is a physical body which consists of hard body that you can touch that and feel that, and laptop will consist of software also. That software means it is a soft body that you cannot touch, you cannot feel, but it will be there installed inside the laptop. The same thing, if I ask you what is the third form of the laptop, that is the user. User is also a part of the laptop, or otherwise programmer. Who programmed that one or who is using that one, he is also a part of laptop. That is called as a self part of the laptop. Okay, like that, when we come to our own body, then we have a human body. That is a body you can see, you can touch, you can feel that one through a physical organs. That body is called as a physical organ. And The second one is a eternal one. Eternal means you cannot touch, you cannot feel that one through a physical body, that is your mind. Can you touch your mind? No. Can you see others' mind? No. But you can have that information through eternally only. And the third form, we have a soul. Soul means it is a, you can observe in a deep sleep. For example, when you are in deep sleep, you will not dream anything. Think that the dreams are not appearing and your mind is not working. Body is completely under rest, but still you are alive. In your deep sleep, still you will be in alive, or otherwise deep meditator state. There you will be still alive, but even though if your mind is not working, your body is not working. That part is called as a self part. That experience will be individual experience. If I have that experience of that soul or self, then that will be limited to me only. I cannot transfer that. For example, sweet. Okay, the sweet made up of many that what ingredients, and after that you can tell that eternally it is a sweeter. Then when you taste it, then you will feel that sweet, right? That feeling is there, no? That is for the self part. Then why we introduce this one, body mind soul, here? Because a complete human being means that is a combination of body mind soul. A complete human being means combination of body mind soul. Okay, now coming to our question, what was our question? What is yoga? Yoga means here the connection between, we are establishing the a solid connection between body, mind, soul. Okay, that is called as a yoga. Means that is a process. Okay, coming to the body, then what all things you are going to observe in the body? Many parts are there. Okay, many organs are there. If you list them in a particular way, then the first thing what I would like to list here is Jnanendriya. We will call them as a Jnanendriya. Jnanendriya means what? Those organs or those senses which are used to send the information directly to the soul. Directly to the soul. Those organs or otherwise those senses in the body, they are sending the information directly to the soul or to the mind. What are those? Your eyes. Okay, your eyes will directly send the information to the brain. Your nose and mouth. Okay, ear and your skin, that is a touch. These five are called as body organs. That was your Jnanendriya. Jnanendriya. Then after that we have a five Karmendriya. We have five Karmendriya. Karmendriya means what? Karma means what? Action. Okay, means those organs which are useful for our actions. What are those? For example, your two hands are there, two legs are there, and one neck part is there. These five elements are five organs, five parts of the body, that we can call them as a Karmendriya. Means the body means a Jnanendriya is also there, Karmendriya also there. Apart from this, a very important part of the body, that is your brain. A brain is there. Okay, the brain is also a part of body. Then after that we have many glands. Many glands are there. When you feel happy, there will be some fluid secretion in the body. When you feel anxiety or otherwise when you feel sad, when you are crying, then every moment, every feeling, there will be a particular glands. They will secrete some liquids. They will called as a hormones. Okay, they are called as hormones. Okay, this is also a part of body. And apart from that, we have a raw flesh and bones, skin. Okay, these all parts are there. See, this body is a very interesting and very complex design of the nature. The nature designed this body in a very complex way. It has five Jnanendriya, Karmendriya, brain and glands, hormones, flesh, bones, skin, etc., nerves, etc. This all part is called as a body. Okay, means in a yoga exercises, whatever we do, our ancestors or otherwise our gurus or those rishi munis, those that spiritual people, spiritual persons, they have considered all of them. There are exercises for Jnanendriya in coordination with the soul, Karmendriya in touch with the soul or mind, brain and mind connection. glands and brain and mind connection, flesh, bones and skin connection with the mind and soul. See, these all connections you are going to establish. That process is called as a yoga. That process itself is called as a yoga. Understood? Means it is just a connection between that. Then when I come to the second form of the connection, in the second entity is here the mind. Then what is a mind? What is a mind? Mind, we can divide it into two forms. The first one is a Jagrata, or otherwise conscious mind. Conscious mind. And the second one is a subconscious mind. Subconscious mind. Means conscious mind means what? When you are awake, now you are listening the lecture. You are in the process of listening this one, and you are aware of what I am telling. You are aware of that what I am telling here, and you are aware of the surrounding things, whatever that is happening, light, sound, or otherwise picture, whatever you are seeing. Means you are in conscious state. When you sleep, when you are in a deep sleep, then for example, when you are in sleep, your digestion is going on. There is no disturbance for the digestion. There is no disturbance for the blood circulation. There will be a continuous blood circulation. There will be a continuous heartbeat. These are not disturbed even though you slept in a deep sleep. That who will be taking care of that one? That will be taken care of by subconscious mind. Understood? Now you got the meaning of conscious and subconscious mind. There are deep meanings about this one, but we will restrict about conscious mind. Means what? When we are conscious, when we are awake, then at that time whatever we think, that is called as a conscious mind. When we are unaware but still our body is doing so many activities, that is called as subconscious mind. Understood? Now in conscious mind we will be having positive thoughts, negative thoughts, unwanted thoughts, and we have a necessary thoughts. Like that we have a four type of the thoughts will be there. In subconscious mind we will be having habits also here. Positive habits, negative habits, means they will harm our health. These positive habits, they will improve our health. And we have unwanted habits and necessary habits. Like that we have four types of habits here and four type of thoughts here. Now in the process of yoga, what we are going to do, we are going to establish the connection between the mind and the body. Then mind and the body, when you are connecting, then there will be a process where you are going to select the positive thoughts and where you are going to select the positive habits and necessary thoughts and necessary habits, and that you are merging with your body. This is the process of yoga. And the third entity what we are going to see in this process yoga is, that is your soul. A soul is a part of a life. In the life we have a body, and in this one a software is there. That software is a mind. Software is a mind, and there is a self user or otherwise programmer or user is there inside. That is called as a soul. Then soul, I cannot explain through this webinar what is soul and what it is called as soul, because it is a self experience. To understand what is the soul, then you have to sit at one very peaceful position, stop your mind working, stop your body working. Then who will be working? That person is called as a soul. Okay, the person who will be working when we stop everything. The thoughts are stopped, subconscious is stopped, and even your body actions are stopped. Then still you will be alive. You will be called as alive, a human being. Then who will be taking care of your body and who is making you alive? That person himself is called as a soul, or you can call it as a energy. Or if you don't understand soul and energy, you call it as a self. Now think about this yoga. What is this yoga? Yoga is the connection between the body. Body means Jnanendriya, Panchendriya, blood, flesh, skin, glands, hormones, brain. These all the things, complex material, that, and the mind, conscious, subconscious, unwanted, positive, negative, and these all entities. And the third one is your self, and these all combinations you are going to merge them. That process is called as yoga. Okay, individual entity, they will not give you taste. Say for example, go to kitchen and take a salt and eat that salt, will you get a good taste? Sugar, will you get the good taste? No. When you mix the salt with some ingredients, then when you cook with some low heat or otherwise high heat, and with some so many that tricks you are going to use them, you are going to mix all the ingredients. Understood? See, we have a wheat, and from the wheat you are going to get a kesari bath also. From the wheat you are going to get a upma also. From the wheat we are going to get in Kannada called as sajjaka. That also will get. And from the wheat, if you make it very flour, that very fine flour, then you will get a chapati. And through the chapati, even you can make samosa. And even if you go finer than that one, then you can get a maida. That is also wheat form. And there you can get many dishes. This one, delicious foods. See, the one ingredient with their that what minute and minute, when you go into a different forms of that wheat, then you are going to get a different tastes. Like that, the yoga is the only one word I can say, but inside if you go deeper and deep, then you are going to get many flavors. And through that, your all the senses, all the eternal senses and material senses, they will get fulfilled. They will get some good taste of life. Okay, that is the definition of yoga. Understood? Now, what are the forms of yoga? The first, I'm going to, this one, as per my knowledge, I'm going to divide this yoga into three forms. That is your pranayama, yogasana, and vyayama. This pranayama means what? Prana plus ayama. Prana means that is the oxygen, you can call oxygen, or otherwise air, or otherwise breathe. What you are going to take through your nose, that is a breathe. Okay, ayama means that is a control. Okay, controlling the breathe, inhale and exhale. There are so many processes are there that instead of calling controlling, we will use the word command. Okay, we will not use the word control, we will use the word command. Means command over a breathe is called as pranayama. Then yogasana. Yogasana means some exercises are there in your body. There are some joints are there, some glands are there. Okay, to activate those glands, to activate those joints, you are going to do some exercises. Those are called as yogasana. Yoga plus asana. Okay, asana means posture, yoga means connection. Establishing the connection between body, mind, soul in a particular asana, particular posture is called as yogasana. Then coming to vyayama. Vyayama is also a part of yoga. Even you can call in English this one as a gym. No? But we will not agree with the process what we undergo with the gym and vyayama. Vyayama is completely different. Here also we are going to lift heavy weights, and here we are going to stretch our body and make our body fully flexible and build muscles. No? There are many tricks will be there here that we will be performing that as a vyayama. Okay, means there are three forms of yoga. Means in these three forms you are going to establish the connection between body, mind, soul. Okay, na? Then if I come to age wise, look at here, the pranayama, this vyayama is good for, I will consider like this. If you are a youth, okay, young people, if you are a young people, then you are advised to vyayama, yogasana, and pranayama. All three you can do. First you do yogasana, and after that pranayama, then you can vyayama, then after that you can do pranayama. That youths are suggested, are advised to do all these three. When you come to the proud, when you come to some adult age means what? After 40 till 60. After 40 till 60 when you come, then you are advised to do yogasana and pranayama. Yogasana and pranayama. 40 to 60 age may not be advised this vyayama. It becomes very hard for them. Therefore, they can perform, even though few people they will do vyayama also, nothing to worry. But still, I can suggest that from 40 to 60, you can perform this yogasana and pranayama. When you are above 60, the joints and glands and many parts of the body are somewhat not working condition, then you can perform pranayama and live that what longer life. After 60, if you continuously follow this pranayama, even you can that live for 150 years, 175 years, 200 years. Okay, continuous and regular pranayama, even it can build energy into you. Okay, this is the three forms of yoga we are going to have. Then in the pranayama, as I told you that pranayama means what? Prana means what? That is the oxygen. Prana means oxygen. Okay, there are many forms of air. Okay, when we breathe, there are many forms of air. What are those? We have nitrogen is there, oxygen is there, hydrogen is there. Like that, many forms of air are there. But oxygen, we will call it as a prana. Why we will call oxygen a prana? Because when you inhale this one, when you take this oxygen into your body, then you are going to get energy. Your body will energize. Therefore, we will call it as a prana. Then ayama means what? Command. Okay, ayama means command. Command over a breathe. You can call this as a breathe also. Command over the breathe is called as pranayama. Then in this pranayama, many forms are there that I will be teaching you today. Okay. Then question. Very important question is that from where this prana enters into body? Think from which part is necessary and which part is taking the prana into our body. Which is that part which is helpful to take the prana into the body?
Nose, sir.
Very good. The nose is the correct and good organ. That is the one, the organ through which we are going to inhale the prana inside. When we inhale here, there is a one big science is there to understand this nose. Okay, when we study pranayama, then understanding the nose is a ultimate thing. Okay, here we don't have any organs. No need to understand about that gland, this gland, or otherwise that part of the body, this part of the body. You understand what the process is going through this nose, that we need to understand. Okay, now look at here. To give a correct answer, now this nose is there. We have a left nostril here, left nostril, and here we have a right nostril. Right, this is a left and this is a right. Okay, we have a two holes. They are called as nostrils, left nostrils and right nostrils. Okay, and here the very important thing here in pranayama, in yoga shastra, the right nostril we will call it as a surya nadi, surya nadi, surya nadi, or bala pingala, bala pingala. Surya nadi, we will remember this one, surya nadi, and the left one we will call it as a chandra nadi. This is a very important science. Okay, be careful and that what understand this one. This is called as a chandra nadi. Okay, Surya is famous for what? Surya is famous for what? Surya is famous for heat. Okay, and Chandra is famous for what? Chandra is famous for cool. That's why we named this one as a Chandra nadi and Surya nadi. When you consider this Surya, that I can call it as a positive energy, positive energy. Okay, and when I consider Chandra, then this is a negative energy. Okay, negative energy means this is not the positive energy, means we should have negative energy, we should avoid, not like that. This is just your electrons and protons, how you name in science. Okay, the positive positrons and negative electrons, right? Like that. See, we have a brain also. The brain also, it is in a two forms. The first one is the left hemisphere, right hemisphere. Okay, when we take the breathe through the left nostril, when we take a breathe through a left nostril, then there will be a negative signal going to the brain. Negative signal goes to the brain. When we take a breathe from a right nostril, then we will send a positive signal to the brain. Then this positive and negative signal, they will in turn generate electricity, and that electricity will be spread throughout the body. That's why you are going to lift your entire weight in a fraction of a second. See, my arm is about 5 to 6 kg. 5 to 6 kg will be there, this arm. and now I am freely operating with this arm, and my joints are supporting me. Some mechanical energy is there, some electricity generation is there. Then how this electricity is generated inside the body? That electricity can be generated through our positive and negative the charges. Our nostril will be carrying that, and that will be connecting to our brain. Therefore, the breathe is not only supplying the air to the body through our nostrils, the breathe is supplying even the charges to the brain. Through that we are going to operate. Understood? Here what the things were very important thing you need to mark here is, this is a Chandra Nadi, symbol of cool, and this is called as Surya Nadi, a symbol of heat. One exercise I am going to give you, just watch my video that instead of this screen, you come to my that video. Now look at here, this is my left nostril and this is my right nostril, right? Okay, we'll do one exercise. Okay, we will we will close our right nostril and we will take a 3 breathe from the left nostril. All of you do this one. 1, 2, 3, right? Now close this left one you close, and do the same exercise with the right. 1, 2, 3. Okay, stop it now. Now just tell me, any one of you, or otherwise 2 of you, or any of you, tell me, is there same flow between the left nostril and right nostril, or there was a difficulty in the one nostril and there was a very easy flow in other one? Can anyone tell me?
Sir, not same.
Not same, right? Then any others?
Through right nose, it is very easy to breathe.
Yes, right nose it was a very easy, and left nose it was a difficult to breathe, right? Like
Slight
that.
difficult.
Yes, and like that, not only right and left, whatever that Madhusudan told now, that is not the case for all of you now. Okay, there might be, for example, for me, the left was a very clear and the flow was very easy, and for me, right was a very difficult. For some people, it might be a reverse one, vice versa. Okay, na? But I will promise you, or otherwise I will give this task, challenge you that after 90 minutes you observe the same. I will do the same exercise. When you do after 90 minutes, you are going to look at some different mechanism inside the brain, nostril. That is what that process, whatever you observe, no, that will be reversed. That will be just reversed. I don't know when it is started. Therefore, 90 minutes when it comes, I don't know for you, because this process will be continuous flow. But you just think that every 90 minutes or 1.5 hour or 1 hour in average, these process will be changing each other. Then what is this symbolizes? One active and one inactive, and after 90 minutes and another active and another inactive. What this indicates? This indicates a very important science in our body. Very important science in our body. That when you are taking the breathe through a left nostril, then the body is getting cold. The body is getting cold. When you are taking the breathe through your right nostril, then your body is getting a heat. Okay, now you told that you you observe yourself. If your this left nostril is very easy and right was difficult to breathe, then you just assume that in this time your body is getting cool environment, or otherwise cold. It is decreasing the temperature in your body. And those who got the right nostril very fluent, the flow was very easy. For those whose right nostril was active, then I can tell them that for you people, there was a temperature increase taking place in your body. Then when it is increasing, it won't increase a completely a day or 2 days, 3 days, week, that month together. This will be changing. When your body gets a lot of heat, then it will switch on the left nostril. Then you will start gaining the cold. When you get a lot of cold, then your mechanism starts that easing this right nostril, like that the science is going on in the nostril. Understood? This is called as a Surya Nadi and Chandra Nadi, and you can just remember Bala, that is a stronger. Stronger means it is a heat, or stronger means it is a positive. Stronger means it is a Surya, and weaker, that is your left, and weaker means it is a negative. Weaker means it is a cold. Okay, and Chandra, like that you can remember. See, I am going to tell you one very strange thing about at this point. That is a very strange thing about this point is, at this point is 1 minute. The strange thing, how to implement this concept into our brain. Look at here, I am going to give again. You watch my video instead of slide. You watch my video. When you sleep, either you sleep like this or you sleep like this, right? Means sometimes you will make your right hand upwards and you sleep like this, or sometimes you sleep making your left hand upward and you may sleep like this. And the third form is that sleeping that what upside down. And the fourth form you can say that angata antivala angata malkontarala, no? So looking at the sky, that is the one form. Okay, now let us talk about sleeping on our right hand. Okay, when you make your right hand at upside and when you sleep with your at this face, means your right nostril is upside. Just look at here, when you sleep like this, your right nostril is upside. When your right nostril is upside means when you are sleeping like this, then you are supplying heat into your body. Very important. You are supplying heat into your body. When you take a diversion, when you sleep like this, making your left nostril upside, then you are taking cold into your body. Understood? This is the science. Now I am going to tell you that when you get a cold, negadi, sardi aata hai na, negadi, a cold when you get, then how you need to sleep? Tell me. The body is completely cold. Okay, from everywhere you are getting that what hormones, you know, you are snoring, that your nose is snoring and you are feeling very cold and you are shivering. In that case, how you need to sleep? How you need to sleep? Which direction you need to sleep? You need to make your right hand upwards and you need to sleep. Okay, let us consider A person and B person. Okay, I will give an example. See, there is a one person A and there is a one person B. He also got a very severe cold, and this person also got cold. And this person, when he sleep, he made his right nostril upside. And when this person is slept, then he made his left nostril upside. Then in the next day, I can say that A person is good. Means in normal condition, and next day or otherwise 2 days or 3 days, the A person become a normal. His cold will be disappeared, and B person will be continuously suffering the cold. Still he will be suffering the cold. Why? Why? In your family also you will see the same thing. When you get a cold, you are one of relative, he will also get a cold, and both started at the same day, but the end will be different. You call it as the immune system. You call it as that person had a more immune system. That's why he got he got cured in a less time. And you tell yourself that I have a less immune system, therefore I am getting lot of time to cure. No, not like that. In your process, you need to observe. You are supporting. Who is supporting? The one B person who has already cold, and he is again supporting the cold. Means sleeping like this and again inhaling the cold. Then cold will never come down. But the A person, when he got a cold, then he slept in other direction, and he that was cured by that cold in a less time. See what is how the science is there here. Now think about fever. Fever. Okay, when you get a fever means your body will be in a heat condition. The temperature is more in fever condition. Then how you need to sleep? You need to sleep making your left nostril upside. Means you need to take cold inside. Understood? Now one magic, the strange thing about the nature I am going to tell you that here the nature is doing this one automatically. No need to worry. It's not like that after listening my class, otherwise after knowing this left nostril, right nostril, then only we will get our immune system. No, not like that. Our body has already programmed like that. When you get a cold, like one question I would like to ask at this point. When you get a cold, either one of these nostril will be blocked. Is it yes or no? One nostril will be completely blocked. I know that one because I am also a human being. One will be completely blocked and the second will be open. But you will get irritated by that one. You will get irritated. That's why what you do, you will take something, some wax, that what you are not vaccine. You will take some amrutanjan or otherwise that what you are jandu balm, like that you will take, or otherwise some pen will be there inside. They will put amrutanjan and you will put into your nose and you will make it clear. That is a bad habit. See, the body has a programmed, and if you are getting the cold, then it is supplying heat. If your body is a heat, that is supplying cold. But you are again disturbing that one. You are disturbing that one. Understood? That's why we need to support our programmed system inside the body. Understood? And one more, you will be doing this experiment. I know that one. When your right nostril is blocked, think that this is completely blocked. What you do? If you don't have any amrutanjan, jandubam, if you don't have these instruments, what you do? You will sleep like this. You will make that nostril upside and you will sleep. Then this will be cleared and this will be blocked. Then again you will come and you will sleep like this. This will be blocked and this will be cleared. Okay, this is, we are disturbing the body. That's why whenever you get a cold, if you want a very easy cure, then allow the body to work according to his time cycle. Understood? This is what the body is going to work. Now you got the meaning of this left nostril and right nostril and their functions. And now based on that, our brain is going to activate. In our brain also we have two hemispheres, left and right. Okay, the balancing is an art. Again, the yoga means what? In Mahabharata it is said that yoga means a balancing. Samatvam yoga. Yoga means what? Arjuna asks, and Krishna tell that balancing is called as a yoga. Then what is that balancing? Balancing between the left hemisphere and right hemisphere, balancing between the Surya Nadi and Chandra Nadi, balancing between the heat and cold, balancing between the happy and sadness. This is that balancing, that is called as a yoga. That's why the pranayama, these are the exercises, they will balance your body. I would like to ask you this experiment. I think in MBA classes I conducted this one. Again, if you are not aware of this one, you can do this exercise. Make it like that. Okay, which thumb upside you can observe. For me, a left hand thumb is upside and right hand thumb is downwards. Okay, below it is. Now, means by this also you can understand, by birth, you are dominant in one personality, one brain. You are dominant in one brain by birth. And the other brain, you need to give some extra efforts and make it active. Okay, then what are the activities they are belongs to here? The left brain will be having calculation, mathematics, speech, sequential, procedural, poet, debate, talkative. And the right brains we will be having logical, comprehensive, emotional, creativity, concentrated, non-verbal intelligence, silent and dull. Okay, these all emotions we will be having in a different parts. When you do a exercise called Anuloma Viloma, the first one is the Anuloma Viloma. When you do this Anuloma Viloma, then you are going to get a, okay, I will show you how to do this Anuloma Viloma. Then Anuloma Viloma, when you practice this one, your left brain and right brain will be synchronized, and your heat and cold will be balanced. Your cold and fever will be balanced. your positive and negative energy will be balanced. Okay, the Anuloma Viloma, you can do it by just it is shown there, and you can have your two fingers and one finger use it to close one nostril and the other one use it to close another nostril. Then you inhale from one nostril and close that, and exhale from another nostril. Like that, inhale from here, then close it and exhale from here. Okay, we'll do one exercise about this one. Look at it slowly. Okay, even if I take one feather, okay, na, the hen feather will be there. No, if I take a cloth or otherwise feather or that what your paper and put in front of your nostril, then it should not fluctuate. That much slowly you need to take. The many people do like they will make a noise and they will do the pranayama. Not like that. Slowly you take. It should not. You should not recognize whether it is inhaling or exhaling. Okay, like that. Exhale. Now inhale. Same nostril. Inhale. Exhale. Again inhale. Exhale. Doing this, what you are going to do, that what you observed, no, before that activity there you observed that your left nostril and right nostril, one was easy and one was difficult. Doing this one, you can balance both. When you balance these two, then you are allowed to perform the next pranayama methods. Okay, do not perform any pranayamas before Anuloma Viloma. After Anuloma Viloma only you need to perform the pranayamas. The next pranayama what we have here is the Kapalibhati. This Kapalibhati, we have a Surya Chandra Bedana Kapalibhati, and here in this one, forcibly we need to activate our left nostril and right nostril. Okay, first we will concentrate on the left one. First we will concentrate on the left one. I closed the right one and I am going to forcibly exhale from the left nostril like this. Like this you need to do it. How many times? Just do it for 15 times, and after that switch to right nostril. Okay, then in the right nostril again you close this left one and right nostril exhale. Means forcibly you are going to make both the nostril active. Both the nostril you are going to make active. Okay, then after this pranayama you can do undivided, both nostrils you can do, but again forcibly, again this is called as a balancing. How? Look at it. Right, means exhaling from the left, exhaling from the right, and continuously and forcibly. Okay, this is also a Kapalibhati. Okay, but in this Kapalibhati the main objective here is balance the nostril, make both the nostril active. Okay, both the nostrils make them ease. Okay, that you are going to practice it, and after that what you will be observing, that is a Kapalibhati. Through both it is over, and now a slow Kapalibhati you can practice. The third form will be slow Kapalibhati. I am not holding any, controlling this nostril, just you need to exhale. Slow it is. Right, here when you do this, when you perform this one, then your stomach should go inside and chest expand and exhale should happen, and do not concentrate on inhale. The inhale must be automatic and only you need to concentrate on exhale. Look at here once again, only concentrate on exhale. Right, at the same time my stomach is entering inside. When I exhale, the simultaneously stomach will go inside and breathe will come outside. This is a fourth form of Kapalibhati, and we have a fifth form of Kapalibhati. This fifth form of Kapalibhati is a very fast. The same thing we need to do it very fast. Okay, this you practice it when you practice more than 10 days or 20 days of that Anulom Vilom and the previous Kapalibhatis. Then the fast one will be suggested later in advanced stages. That is your very fast, like okay na, like this you need to do it. Then how many times, that all depends on you, but starting, if you are a beginner, you start with 10 times, 15 times, like that. Okay, 10 times from here, 10 times from here, 10 and 10 here, and after that 10 slow and 10 fast. Okay, this is one cycle of Kapalibhati. Then after that we will be having Bastrika. Okay, Bastrika, here we are entering the Bastrika. You have to perform it after Kapalibhati or otherwise after Anuloma Viloma only. Okay, do not perform Bastrika at the starting. Okay, here a very fast and very intense the breathe you need to exhale. Okay, you need to inhale through the both the nostril, and you need to exhale very forcibly, like this. Like that you make it 15 breathe out, and after that take a rest about 1 minute, take a rest, and after that again 15 breathe outs and again take a rest. Like that you can perform Bastrika exercise, right? Then after Bastrika you can perform Shitali Pranayam. See here what happened. When you perform Kapalibhati, when you perform Bastrika, then it is presumed that there will be so much of heat generated in the body. There will be a lot of heat generated in the body. Therefore, to balance that one, that we are going to do Shitali Pranayama and Shitkari Pranayama. Shitali Pranayama means taking the cold air inside the body. Okay, means it will increase that decrease your temperature and make your body colder. How? See, you need to twist your tongue like this. Right? You need to twist your tongue in that way, and you need to inhale through a mouth, through a tongue, through that pipe. Okay, that you made through the by the tongue. No, through that you need to inhale like this. Then after that, that is called as a Kumbhaka. Means you need to store that breathe inside. Do not exhale suddenly. When you take that one, stop. Then exhale through nose. Once again. Okay, this is a Shitali Pranayama. Okay, then you can practice this one for about 10 times or otherwise 5 to 8 times. That is enough. Then after that we have Shitkari Pranayama. Shitkari means again it will increase the cold into your body. That will allow the cold into your body. That you are going to do it by teeth. Okay, teeth you need to hold it like this, and you need to inhale through the gaps of teeth. Okay, then again you are you're inhaling the cold air. Do it like this. Hold it, then later exhale through the nostril. Right? This is your Shitkari Pranayam. Okay, now then after that you are going to have Murcha. Murcha is a very interesting, and it will give you a very relaxed form of that feeling. Relax, you will get a lot of relaxation. Then how to do this one? Inhale through both nostrils and exhale through the mouth, making a small sound like this one. Few yogis tell that you need to make a noise, make that sound, and few yogis they will exhale as it is. Okay, but make a small amount of noise and very slow exhale. Okay, you do it for 10 times, and then your brain, your mind, your body will be relaxed tremendously. That you can sense that one. That relaxation is a very huge relaxation. See, whenever you get that what anxiety or otherwise, whenever you get a stress, project submission will be there, assignment submission will be there, or might be your teachers or parents or some elders, seniors, they might be scolded you. You made some mistake. You are in dilemma. At that time, you perform this murcha. Sit at one corner in your place in your home and inhale through the nose and make a exhale and making a small sound. Okay, that you are going to get a lot of relaxation. Then after that we have a mahat pranayama. This is called as a plavana pranayam. In this one, what we are going to do, this is not for beginners. That after when you reach advanced version, then you can do this mahat pranayam. Mahat pranayam means you are going to store a lot of energy into your body at a time. In a one breath you are going to store a lot of energy. And if any that what unused oxygen, unused breathe is there inside, that you can liberate it outside. Okay, that you are going to do it by, there are so many steps are there that I will teach you offline only, because this is I am scared about to teach this one online, because if you practice there might go in a wrong direction, that breathe, therefore you may get pain when you do this mahat pranayam. Here what we are going to concentrate, that I am going to tell you that when you exhale the prana, when you exhale, when you inhale the prana through your nostril, then we are going to stop. We are going to lock this jalandhara, we will call. No, we will lock this pipe, and we will lock the stomach pipe, and we are going to lock each and every holes of the body, and we are going to store that prana inside. And like that, you need to practice about 30 to 40 seconds. You need to take it inside and hold it, and later slowly you need to release it. Okay, that is your mahat pranayama. Okay, then what is the use of doing all these things? I told you that the left nostril and right nostril, they have a different functions: heat, cold, positive, negative, surya, chandra, like that, electricity generation. There are many things are there in right and left nostril. And when that oxygen enters inside, it will do again many that functions inside the body. Therefore this pranayama means it is the connection between the prana and the body. Okay, now then after that you have a brahmari, and I suggest this brahmari for each and every students, especially for students, because this is not a pranayama, this is a brain exercise. It will vibrate your brain. Okay, do it for 10 times or 11 times in a day. Okay, morning when you wake up after taking a brush, okay, you perform this one for 10 times or 11 times, then you will definitely activate your brain. How to do this one? Then inhale through your nostril and close your eyes, completely close your ears. Okay, tightly close your ears and tightly close your eyes. Okay, eyes you close it only by using your lids. Okay, like that, eyelids you need to close it, don't press the eyes like this. And after that, through your nose, closing your mouth, you need to make a sound called brahmari, gungadi, that brahmari, how it will make a noise, the same way you need to make a sound. Okay, one exercise I will show you like this. Okay, slowly you need to exhale. Okay, even after doing 5 or 6 only, you will come to know, when you open your eyes, you will feel the tremendous energy into your the body. Okay, the brahmari is the very important pranayama. Then after that we have a onkara pranayama. Onkara means you many times you will be performing this one, but perform it very scientifically. Inhale through a nose and exhale through a mouth by pronouncing 3 words. One is a 33%, u 33% of the breathe, and ma, that is that is your 33%. Okay, when you exhale, then you need to do this exercise. This is your onkara pranayam. These are all pranayamas, and after that there will be some advanced version, Kumbhaka, Rechaka, Puraka, like that. For beginners it's not required, and after that you can perform meditation. Okay, in this session I cannot convey you each and every aspects of this yoga within 1 hour. Therefore I will just end up you telling what is a meditation. Meditation is what? I no need to tell you the definition of meditation. I will tell you one thing: do yogasana, and first you go for walk, and after that do some exercises, release your joints, and after that do all these pranayamas, and after that sit at one place, close your eyes. Whatever you feel, that is a meditation. Whatever you feel, that is a meditation. Okay, don't make it complicated. Nowadays the people are making meditation very complicated and teaching very complicated, so that the ordinary people who is thinking meditation means it is a very hi-fi thing, or otherwise very only a rich people are educated or very great people can do that one. Not like that. Meditation is just the synchronizing the left brain and right brain. Okay, when you do a meditation means when you sit at one point and just concentrate on your breathe, concentrate on your prana, how it is going inside, how it is coming outside, just you concentrate on that. Whatever the feeling you are going to feel, that is called as the meditation. You may retain that feeling for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hour. That all depends on your practice. Understood? This is what a meditation. Now, at the end, I am going to concentrate on you a few parameters for students. Study at alpha state. Alpha state means when you wake up or before you sleep, that time the brain will be in the alpha state. At that time you start your preparation. Then you will be definitely feeling a great. Okay, then your memory power will be improved. And study with the short cycles. Study with the short cycles means what? Don't sit for 3 hours, 2 hours together and at a time. Don't study like that. Take half an hour study and after that take a rest. Rest means what? Not looking at WhatsApp or otherwise going to YouTube and watching the videos. Rest means just relaxation. Okay, do one brahmari or otherwise one exercise, and after 20 minutes then again start continuing your study. Okay, therefore make a short cycle of study. The third one is artificial sleep cycle. Artificial sleep cycle means take a nap after 1 hour study. Just relax on your chair or otherwise on your bed, and about 5 minutes you sleep. 5 minutes. That sleep is not a deep sleep, just artificial sleep cycle. Then after that confuse your left and right brain. Okay, then you work from both the hands so that your left and right brain will be confused. And listen, read, write and teach. And your Vandalaga, Shanka Pushpi, Chavan Prash and Pranayama that you need to do. Early wake up and early sleep, dry nuts and glucose. Okay, these are all there. In general, I would like to give you some suggestions. Morning, just after wake up, half liter of water, lukewarm, that you need to drink. Make this practice. Okay, the second one is after that 5 to 10 minutes later, then you can go for a toilet. That is your excretion. Then after that, take a bath. Then after that, perform exercises. Very important thing. Okay, if you are getting a lot of sweating after doing exercises, then take another time a bath. Okay, but after bath only you do exercise. Okay, and pranayama must and should after bath only you have to perform pranayama, because you have to get the very fresh air into your body. That's why after bath only you need to do this. Bath means it is not just a washing the skin. When you take a bath, then each and every pores into our skins, they will be reactivated. Then you are inhaling that will also happen through your skin also. Therefore after bath only we need to do exercises. Then meditation for 10 minutes. After 1 hour of doing all these things, then you can go for breakfast. Okay, don't go suddenly. Then breakfast like a prince. Who is a prince? Prince who is always a rich, who is richer than the king, because his enjoyment will be more than the king. Therefore breakfast like a prince means what? You need to have a lot of proteins. Dry nuts you take, like that you just search a lot of proteins, vitamins you can take in the breakfast. And lunch like a king. The king will not be enjoying the dry nuts and all. He want a food, good food. Therefore between 12:30 to 1:30 or 2 o'clock, then have a good amount of lunch. And but when you come to the night time, that is a dinner, then like a beggar. Okay, you eat only one roti, one chapati, like that. You, if you maintain, then your health will be in the good condition. Then after that, water intake. Water intake means what? Water, when to take, when not to take. There are some guidelines. Okay, before meals you should not take water. Means half an hour before meals you have to take, and 1 hour after meals you have to take. Morning I already told you 0.5 liter. Before sleeping you need to take 1 glass or 2 glass of water. Like that, there are some guidelines you need to maintain. At least in a day 4 to 5 liters of water intake must be there. If you follow these all things now, then nothing will happen to you. Okay, and even if corona comes now, you give a good shelter to that corona, and give a good farewell to that virus. Okay, don't make that disturbance in your body through some foreign materials, right? This is all about I would like to convey today to you people. If you have anything, just I have about 5 to 6 minutes. If you have anything to ask, you can ask.